Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you the final episode of the day, part 12 of What If Kaguya Was Naruto's Mother. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also, go ahead and check out a new episode of What If Naruto returned different after his training trip that I posted on this channel. And over on Anime King 2, I post a new episode of What If Naruto Was a Vampire, and I also post a new episode of What If Naruto Had the Unknown Sharingan. So go ahead and check out those and enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click those red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. And yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So the last time we left off, Tobirama made a deal with Naruto that he will tell him where all of the other tailed beasts were when they come out in sight, all of the jinchuriki hosts in the war, but they needed Naruto help in this war, as Naruto agreed. Hiruzen was on the battlefield, as he watched something blur past him, as he thought it was Naruto, as the group was currently facing off against the Nibi Jinchuriki, as Naruto grabbed the Jinchuriki and just lifted him up in the air like he was nothing, as Jinchuriki was slashing around. As Naruto then made contact with Monotabe inside, as Monotabe talked to him, as she was very upset. Monotabe treated the Three Tails like a little brother, and she watched as he got sealed away, crying out for Naruto. As for years, they came after her, taunting her and testing their skills to see if they were strong enough to take on other Bijus. As what she said made Naruto's heart break, as Naruto told her that he can kill her Jinchuriki host and her chakra will spread out and reform, as Naruto just hoped that she will forgive him someday, as she just said they need time. As Naruto killed the host and threw the body up in the air, as her chakra vanished, Tobirama then gave Naruto the location on Son Goku, the four-tailed monkey, as Naruto killed the Jinchuriki host without saying anything, because he felt too disappointed and sad within himself, as he knew all of the tail beasts hated him for not being there for them. So the final battle of the war begins, as Tobirama, along with a group of Konoha ninjas, a large group, and the three other Kages, the Kazekage, the Tsurikage, and the Raikage, with their thousands upon thousands of ninja, ready to face off against Tobirama, as the Tsurikage told Tobirama to surrender, as Tobirama smiled as he then looked up, as Tobirama pointed everyone's attention to Naruto, as they all saw him, as the three Kages didn't know why, but they felt like something terrible was going to happen, and something did, as Naruto created a giant tornado that started to suck all of them in. It even sucked in Tsurikage, as he then sent lightning into it, as the lightning started to tear them apart, shattering and disintegrating them. As Naruto then searched for the seven-tailed host, as he saw the seven-tailed host, as Naruto landed in the ground, a boom, as the seven-tailed host and group of ninjas that surrounded him were blown away. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So let's start this new episode. Koumei Jinchuriki was lying against a tree. Blood came from his mouth, as a nasty wound was at his side, and gashes and cuts were all over his body. But they started to close up quickly, because of the Biju inside of him. As the man looked up at Naruto, "What, come to finish the job?" he asked. "Why did you stay and fight?" Naruto said. "Why did you stay and fight when you could have left and returned to your village?" "You were forcibly taken from your village, Take, I believe, and forced to fight, but you stayed." As the host chuckled, "When I was in Take, I was treated as a monster for what I hold inside of me by everyone in the village. I was called a demon in human flesh. When the stone and the cloud attacked Taki, I fought back because Taki was a place I call home. But the Tishikage told me if I joined them, I wouldn't be treated as a monster or some third-class citizen. They said that I would be treated as a hero for holding back, as he then coughed up some blood. Holding back a bijou for them. I would be a hero. Naruto looked at the man, and for the first time in a long while, he felt pity for someone. This man had been damned because one of his family was sealed inside his gut. All he wanted was acceptance, to be treated right instead of being treated like an outcast. He didn't deserve to suffer for that, as Naruto decided to find out a bit more information before he do what he has to do. Do you blame the bijou for what happened in your life? Do you blame them for being an outcast? Naruto asks. No, I don't blame the bijou for anything. It didn't ask to get sealed inside of me. Would you please do me a favor, sir? Said the man. As Naruto nodded. Please kill me, the man said. As Naruto's eyes went wide. These injuries are really severe. The Nadabi cannot heal everything. All I ask is that you let me see my family. As Naruto was going to heal him, but he felt this man wanted relief. He wanted rest. He didn't want to live for anything else. As Naruto had seen these eyes many times, on the faces of those who lost everything they love and care about. What about going to the other villages? You said that they would treat you like a hero, said Naruto. No, the man said. With the Tishikage dead, I don't know what I will get. Even if I could go to the other villages, I just want to rest. Very well, if you wish to die, then I will grant you death. As the man smiled, as Naruto extended a blade from his wrist, and with one clean swipe, he took off the man's head. As Naruto then jumped back, as the chakra exploded outwards of him, as Naruto watched as Komi became free. With his knees free, Naruto then turned around to look for Tobirama and the ninjas that attacked the east and the western flank. As Naruto sprinted across as he located Tobirama's chakra, Naruto then noticed 10 or 20 ninjas standing around a circle looking down at something. As Naruto stepped forward, as people started to step to the side, as Naruto watched Hiruzen, he was leaning over his mentor Tobirama, as there was a giant hole in Tobirama's chest, as everyone was looking down at their Hokage with worry on their face. Time skip. Konoha gates. There was 2 guards, one of them called Itana and one of them Deji, as the both of them had their hand on their weapon holster, as someone was at the gates wearing a hood. Please take off your hood and identify yourself, said Itana. The man slowly removed his hood. As they looked at him, the both of them froze. How is this possible? How was he here standing in front of them? As they immediately recognized the white hair and the violet eyes that he had. He was the elemental sage. He was the one who slaughtered the ninjas from Kumo, the stone and the sand. This man ended the war with one swoop, and he was far powerful than Hoshirama Senju, people said. Well, judging by your reactions, you both know who I am, so you know that I'm allowed to enter Konoha. With that, Naruto walked past the both of them as he entered the village. As when he left, both Itana and Deji looked at each other wide eyes. Wait till their friends know that they met the elemental sage. Naruto placed on back his hood. It has been 6 years since he left. Nothing really changed. Ninjas still roam on the rooftop. Civilians still shopping for good deals. One could think that nothing has changed. Well, the place was more calm. Without the tenseness of war, people were more relaxed. As children were running down the streets without a care in the world. As Naruto sensed something coming from behind him, as he moved out of the way as a cat rushed past him with 3 children following after it. As Naruto blinked, he was sure those kids were 10, but yet they were running so fast. Were they already ninjas? 2 boys and a girl. As Naruto saw the girl, she looked almost like Miki, Hoshirama's son's wife. Could that be Tsunade? Naruto thought. But who were those other boys? And why were she chasing after a cat? As Naruto shook his head, as he started to make his way to Hokage's tower. As Naruto opened the door and entered, When he did, he noticed the Hokage was going through paperwork like there were no tomorrow. As the person was muttering as he was cursing, so much damn paperwork he kept on cursing over and over. You know, Hiruzen, people will think you're crazy if you start to talk to yourself. And I don't think it would be a very good look for Konoha to have people think that your Hokage is crazy. As Hiruzen lifted his face, as Naruto noticed the goatee and his hair was combed back. Naruto, Hiruzen said in surprise. How are you, my friend? What brings you here? Have you already forgotten what today is? Said Naruto. Why don't you tell him? Said Naruto, as he turned to the next person sitting in the room, which was Tobirama Senju. Besides from a few wrinkles on his face, Tobirama looked almost the same way as what he did in the war. When Naruto had found Tobirama with a hole in his chest, he was barely breathing, but he was hanging on to consciousness thanks to a few ninja who had experience in medical ninjutsu. As Naruto went over and healed the man, regenerating the hole in his chest within seconds, as the others were amazed. After that, he was on his feet and moving again. Apparently, Tobirama had taken a spear through the chest from a giant puppet from the sand, controlled by several puppet users, as he had jumped in the way to save Hiruzen. And with Naruto destroying all of the shinobis and their Kages, the war was over. After news was spread about Naruto, after 4 tough years of fighting, the war came to an end, and then Naruto headed off, as Tobirama told him that he just had to come back when Tsunade was 10 to train her. Oh yeah, said Hiruzen, I may have forgotten about that. So, is there anything I have to do before I begin to train Tsunade? No, only thing you need is the permission of the clan head, which is me, and the permission of the Hokage, Hiruzen. And the only thing could stop you right now is if Tsunade turned down the training, which I doubt she would do. Yeah, I don't think anyone would pass up the permission to train under the elemental sage, said Hiruzen. Well, have a seat, Naruto, said Tobirama. Tsunade and her team went out on a mission. They will be back soon. So Naruto, have you found any other jinchuriki? Asked Tobirama. Over the past 6 years, the only other jinchuriki I was able to find was a Rokibai. Host, said Naruto, and none other. It seems like they're hiding them very well, said Naruto. Do you mind telling me why you are hunting a jinchuriki, Naruto? Asked Hiruzen. But Tobirama spoke first before Naruto. He was acting a last order for me. I tasked him to find the jinchuriki and eliminate the hosts. As Hiruzen gave a small nod. So what happened while I was gone, said Naruto, as Tobirama started to discuss everything, as he told Naruto about Tsunade and her teammates, one of them named Jiraiya and the other one named Orochimaru, and that Mito came back after the war and she's currently living at the Senju compound with Miki, Tsunade, himself and Haru. But she's not as talkative as she once was. And Miki has also given birth to another child, a boy. His name is Nawaki and he's 4. As he also told Naruto about the Anvu, the group that he created inside of Konoha. Before they could finish their conversation, the 3 kids burst into the room, as Jiraiya was holding the cat in his arms, as a lot of scratches were all over his face, as Tsunade was glaring at Jiraiya, as Orochimaru was standing at the back with a smile on his face. We did it, Sensei, we caught Tora, said Jiraiya. And he then looked at the clock on the wall. It only took us an hour and 30 minutes. We broke the record. As Naruto wanted to laugh, how could it took them so long to catch a single cat? He saw how fast the cat could run, but still, how did it took them so long? They were trained to be ninjas. So you did, Jiraiya. Congratulations. Jiraiya, what happened to your face? Asked Hiruzen, as he had scratch and fist marks on his face. Instead of them comforting him, Naruto saw Jiraiya grinning even more as Tsunade glared at him, as Orochimaru just smirked behind them. I'll tell you, Sensei, said Tsunade, when we were chasing Tora, Jiraiya ran into me, and he said that he wouldn't have gotten hurt if I wasn't so flat-chested. So I punched him twice, said Tsunade, as Jiraiya just giggled, as Naruto couldn't believe it. He was only 10 and this boy was already a strange pervert. Orochimaru, is this true? Asked Hiruzen. Yes, Hiruzen Sensei. Jiraiya did make a comment about Tsunade's chest. She then punched him twice. Could you also tell me how he got the scratches on his face? Hiruzen asked. Oh, after getting punched, Jiraiya was launched into a bush where Toru was hiding. The cat then started to maul his face, said Orochimaru. As Tsunade turned and looked at Naruto, as she looked at him and tilted her head, as the others did the same. As the three of them stared at Naruto, as he stared back at them, as Hiruzen and Tobirama watched to see who will break the silence first. As Jiraiya walked forward, "Who the hell are you?" Jiraiya asked. As Naruto was surprised, he would have thought everyone in the world would know who he is by now. He's seen kids 7 or 8 run around pretending to be him. Almost everyone seemed to know what the elemental sage looked like, except for these three. As Naruto was hurt, he felt sad that Tsunade didn't recognize him. Well, she was mostly a baby, he thought. As Naruto turned to Tobirama, as Tobirama answered his unspeaking question, they didn't spend long in the facility to learn about legendary shinobi. They know of you, but not your appearance. But I'm surprised that Tsunade does not remember you, he said. As Naruto nodded as he turned back at the three genins. Who is this guy, and how am I meant to know him? Asked Tsunade. As she asked her granduncle, confused upon how she must know the white-haired man. But there was some kind of tingling sensation at the back of her head telling her that she knew this person, but she couldn't remember why. Tsunade, I'm surprised you don't recognize your own godfather, asked Tobirama to raise eyebrow. Tsunade looked shocked as she looked back between Naruto and Tobirama. As her teammates were shocked, her godfather just shows up and she doesn't know him. I'm hurt, Tsunade, Naruto said. Don't you recognize me? I did play with you when you were smaller with your mother. As Tsunade looked at him. Come on, Susu, don't you remember me? Said Naruto. As Jiraiya chuckled, Susu? He said. That's a really funny nickname. As Tsunade turned to Jiraiya with her cheeks red in embarrassment and it then turned to anger. Don't call me that, Jiraiya, she said as she raised her fist, or next time, I'll really make it hurt. As he shut his mouth instantly and nodded. She then turned and looked at Naruto. Are you really my godfather? Yes, I am. Though your father didn't agree all at first, it was more like your grandfather appointed me as your godfather. I had actually first met your father when your grandfather said that, said Naruto as he chuckled a bit. That is all well and good, said Orochimaru, interrupting. But how are we meant to know who he is, and why is he here? They must be here for a reason. Ordinarily, if their sensei was talking to someone, he would sign off on their mission and let them go, but they were still here. Your student is right, Hiruzen, said Tobirama. Tsunade, your godfather is here to train you in his arts. As Naruto internally thanked Tobirama for not calling his arts ninjutsu. Seeing a confused look on Tsunade's face, Tobirama speaks some more. Chakra arts, he said. Oh, said Tsunade. Ninjutsu arts, why didn't you say so? As Naruto's eyebrow twitched. Wait, training? A year? Why is this happening so quickly? Why wasn't I told firsthand? Tsunade was shocked. She was getting trained by her godfather. That comes out of nowhere for a year? Her teammates were shocked as well. She would be gone for a year? They were a team. But why am I learning from him now? Why not earlier, said Tsunade. Because you would probably misuse or not understand what he was going to show you. Tsunade, Naruto said, causing all of them to turn and look at him. Whatever I teach you, it will be incredibly dangerous. You need to know that before you do anything. It is something that cannot be taught to children, no matter how pure they are. One slip in concentration can kill you and hurt those around you. As he saw the look in her eyes, she got the message. Good to see you understand that. Tsunade then turned as she looked at both of her teammates, and then looked back at Naruto. What will happen to them? Will Jiraiya and Orochimaru get special training as well? She asked. But she saw the look on her granduncle and her sensei's face. It seems like it was a no. As she then looked back at Jiraiya and Orochimaru, as she saw they wanted training as well. Well, if you're not getting training, then I'm not going, she said. As both boys looked shocked and happy that she would give us special training for them, and happy for the same reason. As Hiruzen and Tobirama had their eyes wide open, as they turned at Naruto, but he was grinning, as he found it very funny. As Tobirama thought if anyone heard that they would get training from Naruto if they knew how powerful he was, they would jump at the opportunity, but Tsunade right out refused it. Even if she didn't know, she stick up for her teammates. Tsunade, said Tobirama, please think about this. This is something that won't come around again. I told you already, either the three of us get training or I'm not going. Hiruzen Sensei told us that teamwork is the most important thing, and with teamwork we can accomplish anything. As Tobirama looked at Hiruzen, who was scribbling away on his paperwork, not lifting up his head. As his scribbling only got faster when Tobirama started to glare at him. As Tobirama then turned to Naruto, as Naruto looked at him, as Tobirama made a head gesture. As Naruto saw what he was doing, oh no, no, said Naruto. There is no way in hell that I'm training the three of them. I was meant to train Tsunade, that was it, not Tsunade and her two friends. But you said that you will train Tsunade, and your goddaughter is simply sticking by her friends. Yes, that may be true, but I'm not going to train another two people for a year. I was only meant to train Tsunade. Tobirama sighed as he rubbed the bridge of his nose. Alright, how about instead of a year, you train Tsunade and her team for 4 months? As Naruto thought about it, as it wasn't that he didn't like Tsunade or anything, but from what happened when he trained Hoshirama and Madara, and saw how his training turned out for them, what if Tsunade and her friends used the power that he taught them and got out of control? And there was also a small chance that one of them could turn into another Madara. And Naruto didn't want that. Ever since that incident happened with Madara, Naruto didn't want to teach anyone again, so that is why he's so hesitant to train the three of them. Still, it will be 4 months. As he sighed, alright, he said. I will teach them, Tobirama, and in the 4 months that I'm going to train them, I will be responsible for what they do. But once Hiruzen started to teach them again, everything they do will be on Konoha's head, not mine. As Tobirama gave a nod, as he understood what Naruto was trying to say. If one of them turned into another Madara, then Naruto will not be responsible for taking them down. It will be up to Konoha. As he then got up, as he walked off, he then stopped at the door. Do you have a regular training ground? Training ground 7, said Orochimaru. Good, be there at 9 tomorrow, said Naruto, as he was going to visit the Forest of Death. But Jiraiya spoke before he left. Hey, new sensei, what's your name? As Naruto looked at Hiruzen and then looked at Tobirama, as he then walked away. Bad manners, said Jiraiya. As Hiruzen then spoke, Team Hiruzen, congratulations on such a feat. Said Jiraiya. The cat wasn't that hard to catch. Oh, not Tora. Congratulations on becoming Naruto's first students. Many people would love to be in your position. I have no doubt that all of you will go on to do great things. As the three of them looked at him confused. So, my godfather's name is Naruto. Why is that such a big deal? Asked Tsunade. Well, to the rest of the world, he's known as the Elemental Sage. As the three of them, minds shut down. He was the Elemental Sage? He was the guy they read about in the books? As Jiraiya looked at Tsunade, how the hell did Flat Chest manage to get the Elemental Sage as her godfather? The next thing Jiraiya knew, he was outside as Tsunade punched him right through the building. As Team 7 then had to spend another 2 hours chasing after Tora as he escaped through the hole. The next morning, the group was going towards their training ground. I call that ability that he used to move super fast, said Tsunade. You can't just call jutsu, said Orochimaru. Well, I call that jutsu he used at the end of the war, said Jiraiya. As Tsunade stick out her tongue at Orochimaru. You're just jealous that you didn't get to call any cool abilities, she said. Really now, said a voice. I didn't know that you could call what I teach you. As they saw Naruto right in front of them. Sorry, Sensei, said Jiraiya. As the rest of them apologized. Good, said Naruto. Alright, I already know a rough line out from what I'm going to teach you. But I want to know something first. What does the three of you excel in? Naruto asked. Jiraiya was the first one to speak. Well, I think I'm good in ninjutsu and taijutsu. Other than that, I don't really know. As Naruto turned towards the other two. I'm okay with medical techniques, and I have chakra control better than most, and I'm also pretty strong, said Tsunade. As he then turned to Orochimaru. My preferred areas are ninjutsu and taijutsu, sensei, Orochimaru said. As Naruto could see that Orochimaru took his training More seriously, why did you ask Sensei? Asked Orochimaru. Because your answers will influence what I teach you. I won't teach you what you want. I will teach you what I believe will be useful to you, said Naruto. As Jiraiya pouted, so I won't be able to learn that sky release technique that you use? No, I will decide what I'm going to teach you. How much I teach you will depend on how much you're willing to learn. If I feel like you deserve it, I might, said Naruto, give you something at the end of a 4-month period. As Naruto reached into his scroll, as he made it look like he was going to pull out something really cool and awesome. But he pulled out a scroll. It was an ordinary scroll. No markings or anything on it that made it look super cool. Sensei, please tell me that you're joking, said Jiraiya. If you're going to make us write or read or something like that, I'm leaving. I finished the facility 4 years ago. I am too old to be doing essays. Jiraiya, you were the dead last in our year. If anyone else need to learn more, it is you, said Snavi. Hey, I graduated with you guys, and the 3 of us graduated before anyone else, Jiraiya said. And that doesn't make me a dead last, he said, as he puffed out his chest. That makes me a genius. Just because you studied extra hard in that week and passed just by the skin, that doesn't make you a genius, Jiraiya, said Orochimaru. Both Snady and myself were at the top of the class, while you were at the bottom. We are genius, while you are still a dead last, said Orochimaru. As Naruto saw that Snady and Jiraiya seemed to be hailed as prodigies, and they have become arrogant, he will have to cut that out of them. Orochimaru, Snady, as Jiraiya was rubbing his eye with his robe, as Naruto opened the scroll to reveal some symbols on it. As he tossed it on the ground right in front of him, Orochimaru, you're a genius. Tell me what that is. As Orochimaru looked at it, after a full minute, he finally gave up. I don't know, Sensei. What is it? Orochimaru said, as he understood what his sensei was doing. Snady also knew, and wasn't surprised next when Naruto called on her to tell her what it was. I don't know, Sensei, she said, as she lowered her head. So, you are the so-called geniuses and the prodigies. You don't even know what a storage scroll is when you see one. But I'm more surprised at you, Snady, considering that your grandmother is a Uzumaki, and you're part Uzumaki as well. You never wanted to learn anything about your heritage? Naruto said as he gave Snady a disappointed look. As Naruto looked at Jiraiya, who had a slight smile on his face as he was happy to see his teammates get put down. Seeing that Jiraiya was better, Naruto decided to move on while he brought the scroll out. Well, I will be training you all for at least 2 months on fūinjutsu. What? Said Jiraiya. Do we really have to learn that boring ink art? I will be careful saying that, Jiraiya, said Naruto. There are several Uzumaki in Konoha right now who would not appreciate their art being called a boring ink art. And there are many Uzumakis that have the power to seal off your chakra permanently if you're not careful. As Jiraiya started to look around, like if one of the Whirlpool clan members would jump out and seal away his chakra for insulting their art. So Naruto-sensei, you're going to teach us fūinjutsu, said Orochimaru, as he was happy. He heard about the wonderful things that fūinjutsu was capable of. Even though he didn't know what the scroll Naruto threw at him was, he still heard about fūinjutsu and the many capabilities. I'm going to be a seal master before you and Snady, said Jiraiya, as Naruto then started to chuckle. What's so funny, Naruto-sensei? Asked Jiraiya. I'm sorry, Jiraiya, said Naruto. But what you just said just proved how little you know about fūinjutsu. Well, it's because there's 100 arts in fūinjutsu, and you can't learn that in 2 months. That's impossible for anyone. But don't worry, I will teach you enough for now. If you want to continue the art when my teaching is over, then you can continue. Are we only going to learn about fūinjutsu? Jiraiya asked. Of course not, said Naruto. I wouldn't expect you 3 to keep your only focus on fūinjutsu for 2 months. In between lessons on fūinjutsu, I will be working on your physical training. And at the end of 2 months, we will be stop working on fūinjutsu and working on something else. Now, any more questions? As all of them shook their heads no. As Naruto sat down, alright, let's begin, he said. Time skip, 2 months later. Now, said Naruto, as Orochimaru, Snady, and Jiraiya draw an explosive tag. As Naruto then told them to back away. As he examined Orochimaru's, Naruto said, as Orochimaru passed his test. He examined Tsunade's. He said, as she passed the test as well. Over the past 2 months, they have all gotten good at fūinjutsu. Orochimaru excelled in the subject. Tsunade was letting her Uzumaki's heritage show, and Jiraiya pushed on with pure determination and asking a lot of questions. As he looked over Jiraiya's seal. Congratulations, said Naruto. You have all advanced to the 5th level of practice to the art of fūinjutsu. As the 3 of them wallow in celebration, as Naruto then clears his throat to gain their attention. Your 2 months of fūinjutsu are up. It's now time to move on to your other half of your training. You 3 may practice fūinjutsu in your own time, but it is no longer my main practice for you guys. As things has changed over the past 2 months, Jiraiya was completely serious when it comes to training because Naruto told him there was a time and place for everything, and Tsunade and Orochimaru weren't acting all arrogant. As Naruto then pulled out 3 pieces of paper, as Tsunade and Jiraiya looked confused, but Orochimaru seemed to know what it is. Orochimaru, explain to your teammates, said Naruto. Naruto Sensei has chakra paper in his hand. It is used to determine 1 elemental affinity. Ninjas usually start to learn about their elemental affinity when they reach Chunin level. An elemental affinity dictates what element you could use the easiest. As Jiraiya started grinning like a madman, while Tsunade didn't look interesting. The Senju had no interest in ninjutsu, something that Naruto was secretly happy for. So, we're going to be learning jutsu, said Jiraiya. Alright Sensei, we're finally getting to the good stuff. As Naruto shook his head, that was a huge drawback for Jiraiya. All the work he did on his attitude, well, they weren't exactly training, just talking. No, said Naruto, I won't be teaching you 3 ninjutsu, I will be teaching you 3 something better. What's better? Said Jiraiya, as Naruto held up the 3 pieces of paper. Use the paper and find out, he said, as each of them took a paper. We will be doing this one at a time, starting from Orochimaru, then Tsunade, then you, Jiraiya. All you need to do is channel a bit of chakra into the paper, and it will do the rest. Orochimaru channeled chakra into paper as he watched the paper slice in half, his affinity to win. Congratulations, Orochimaru, you have an affinity to win, one of the rarest out of the 5. Whoa, that's cool, said Jiraiya, me next, as he quickly channeled his chakra into the paper, even though Naruto said Tsunade was next. He then released it as it was set ablaze. As Naruto sighed, Jiraiya, as he sighed again, alright, you have an affinity for fire, the most common element affinity found in Fire Country. Judging by the reaction of the paper being set ablaze, your affinity for fire is very strong. As Naruto then turned at Tsunade as she channeled her chakra into it, as the paper started to crumble up in her hand. Tsunade, you have an affinity for lightning, said Naruto. As Naruto noticed that she wasn't really interested in learning this. So, what's better than jutsu, Naruto Sensei? Asked Jiraiya. As Naruto simply raised his hand, as a flame came in his palm. As they all looked at him, they didn't see him go through any hand signs or anything. What the hell? As the flame got larger and larger until the flame started to take shape, as a head of a dragon and the legs and the body came out, as the dragon started to twirl around Naruto, as the dragon then fly towards the forest, as it went through 4 trees and then vanished, as the trees then turned into ash. As they looked back at Naruto, as a compressed wind ball was now in his hand, as Naruto fired off the ball as it fly through several trees. That is what I'll be teaching you, Orochimaru, Jiraiya. It will take years of practice to get to the level of manipulation of your chakra and the elements. I will teach you what I can. As Naruto noticed that Jiraiya had a small frown on his face instead of a grin. But what about Tsunade? What would she be learning? As Naruto smirked when he heard that. He loved when the 3 of them got along and cared about each other. Move back, said Naruto. As all of them looked at him, just do it, Naruto said, as they moved back a few meters. I know that Tsunade has no interest in learning about ninjutsu. As such, she wouldn't like to learn about her element. Am I right, Tsunade? Naruto asked. As Tsunade nodded as Naruto continued, so I'm going to teach you something that utilizes your great control. Observe. As Naruto raised his foot, and then slammed it on the ground, as their eyes went wide as the ground started to shake. It was like a mini earthquake. As the three of them fell to the ground, as they were relieved when the ground finally stopped shaking. As they looked towards the forest, as every trees in a 50-meter radius was all knocked down, as a big smile came on Tsunade's face. "That's awesome," she said. "Alright, let's begin," said Naruto. The 2 months were put to use, as Jiraiya and Orochimaru, they constantly work on their manipulation, as Jiraiya was able to make a pillar of flame, and Orochimaru was able to make a gust of wind to fire out of his palm. The day finally come for their last lesson, as Tsunade had been pushing herself to learn this, as it took a lot of chakra control, a very lot, so Naruto spent 1 month teaching her how to fully control her chakra, and the rest of the month, how to use her super strength, which she called it, but Naruto called it enhanced strength. But today was the final day, as Naruto told them to expect something different. As they approached their training ground, Naruto was standing in the center, as the three of them walked up to him as he was wearing his cloak. "Over the past 4 months, I have trained you, I have teach you, I have guided you. I will be giving you 3, your last lesson today, and it is one you must remember." As he then gave him a hard look. "If I find out that you used what I taught you for the enslavement of others, or any dark purpose, or for any other reason besides defending your home or your loved ones, I will come and end your life. I will erase everything you ever touched from the mortal plane if I must," said Naruto, as the 3 of them started to sweat. "Am I clear?" he asked. "Yes, sensei," all of them said. As Naruto then gave him a small smile to ease the tension that he had created. "I am quite proud of the 3 of you. You have learned a lot from the 4-month time period. But that now has come to an end." As Naruto wanted to go out and continue his search for the Bijus. "But before I go," said Naruto, "I have one last thing to give you 3. He then pulled out 3 identical scrolls. Inside the scrolls you will find a location and direction on how to get there. Don't tell anyone where the places are, or don't let anyone come there with you. It would be a bad idea. Once you reach these places, you will be given a test. Pass it and each of you will be rewarded." "What kind of test is it, Naruto-sensei?" Jiraiya asked as he opened the scroll. All that was on the scroll was a map of Fire Country with a spot marked with an X, leading from Konoha to the X, as the X was on some mountain range. "I don't know, Jiraiya. All that I can say, it won't be easy. Good luck, the 3 of you." "Maybe I'll see you all again sometime," said Naruto. As Jiraiya and the others looked up, Naruto was gone. As Jiraiya looked back at the map, as he noticed a name at the bottom, Mount Miyaboku. What's that, he wondered. But guys, I'm be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notifications stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the rest of the what ifs that I post today. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. And thank you all for your help and your support, guys. But I'm out for now. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.